welcome back, everybody, to our home scene slash, I guess, character send-off. Is that the proper way to look at this?
Yeah, I guess epilogue, maybe.
Yeah. As you could tell, we're sitting down with Tyler, and we're going to be going over Agent Essex here.
Yes. One of my few surviving characters ever.
Very, very true. Delta Green is a very deadly game, and it happens. So
yes.
I
almost didn't make it out too.
You almost didn't, yeah. It was tough at the end there because, like, I was trying to figure out how, like, fanatical the cult would be, and I kind of pictured them as more like they felt they were right, so I don't think they would go like fire and brimstone.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it came across to me. Like they were all definitely devout, but they weren't like tiki torches kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when we last left Essex, he had finished the mission. He had brought Agnes's body to the middle of Idaho, dropped it off at a place, and then went on his merry way with some choice reading. We'll just
Oh man, I really should have looked up the exact names. But yes, the two tomes.
Yes,
I found in Sharon's apartment.
Yes,
he managed to sneak away. Kind of sneak away. I think Carmine knew I took that one from him, but
I think so. But who knows? Maybe we'll investigate it later on. But nonetheless,
you never know.
Exactly. What do you think Essex home scene would be as we kind of we catch up? It doesn't have to be like it could be a month in the future, like a couple weeks. There's an indeterminate amount of time from when we closed out on him to this.
Just some amount of time later. Well, it's definitely study the unnatural.
Okay.
I mean, this
completely other sense.
Yeah, from the things he's interested in, like the whole hook that lured him in was just his desire to know the unnatural. And so, like, finding those two tomes, as soon as those are there, it was like, that was my thought. If he survives, that's what he's doing.
Okay. So your agent spends a vignette studying the Forbidden Tome, decrypting flash drive full of shocking data and case reports and blah, blah, blah. This raises your agent's unnatural skill.
Yeah.
The handler describes the results of the study, and you must choose one bond, which loses 1d4 points as your agent spends more and more time on awful things. So who do you think you're going to lose that bond with?
I think... Man, Essex has such high bonds. You know what? I'm going to roll the die, because I think he's either going to lose this bond with his publishing partner, because he's like hiding something from him, or he's going to lose the bond with his on-again, off-again girlfriend for the same reason. Like he's hiding something very important that would be a deep part of his life from his partner, or be something his publishing partner is interested in. So let's go evens odds for writing partner and girlfriend.
Okay.
All right, odds. Jesus, I can't talk today. It was 50. I rolled the D100, and I thought for a second I rolled 58, but I rolled 85. So odds. So that's going to lose score from his publishing partner.
Okay. And so I think we see this scene unfolding with Essex laid up. So what's his apartment like? Does he have a nice place? Is it
no?
Okay?
I mean, I wouldn't call it like nice, but it's not like dirty. It's not like a rundown little 1-bedroom apartment. But it's definitely a place where he does a lot of like work diving into weird publications, weird like transcripts, weird tomes as he can find them. So, but like also hand transcribing stuff, leaving notes everywhere. So he's got a little desk in the corner that is dirty, but otherwise it's just sort of a normal little apartment.
Is it like a one bedroom, a 2 bedroom?
1 bedroom.
Okay.
It's 1 bedroom in like the main living room. He's got a desk in the corner. That's most of his work.
And he didn't have any animals, right? Just he lived alone?
No animals. No pets.
Or does he live with his girlfriend, or does he?
No, because she's sort of an on again, off again sort of thing. Not super serious.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I think we focus in on Essex as he's reading through these tomes, getting deeper and deeper, losing sleep. I think we see him like rubbing his eyes and like looking and like maybe seeing things and like shaking his head and it's gone.
I'm thinking a lot of like weeks of trying to translate. Was it the Eltdown Shards was one of them? The Liber Dominatus?
Yes. So, yeah, I think we just see him digging into these tomes and going and like finding little nuggets here and pulling out other books to cross-reference like words and Latin and stuff like that, trying to understand it all.
I think at some points he even would be like attempting small rituals, but to no success, I would think.
Okay. Right.
Like it would just sort of like it's not working, so he just digs further into it.
I love it. I love that so much. And I think we see kind of like missed calls, messages from his writing partner. We wanted to meet up, talk about, publishing, like, getting back on track with whatever book you guys are trying to get published.
Whatever.
What's his score? I guess what is his bond score now with his partner?
His bond score is actually pretty high. It's 15.
Oh, yeah. So maybe you've done this in the past. Maybe this is something that happens to you from time to time where you just kind of go off on these tangents.
He'll get obsessed, for sure.
Yeah, get lost in it all. And maybe there's just a slight annoyance in the voicemails you get. Not necessarily like yelling at you or like super pissed off or anything like that, but definitely just like, so what was Essex's actual name?
Oh, his actual name is Nathaniel Waters.
Right. So I think he'd just be like, "Hey, Nate, this is this is."
Oh, his name is Armand Toby.
Yeah, like this is Toby. Just wanted to check in, see about meeting up, getting some lunch, maybe some coffee, so we could talk about what we're gonna do moving forward with the book. I really appreciate you letting me back. I guess maybe you're on one of your little benders you do, but we really did get pushing on this, buddy. Thanks. Essex, those kind of voice messages.
I think Essex would catch that when he you have 3 missed messages. Like he looks at his phone, and that call is like 3 days ago.
Yeah, exactly. He's just been on this fucking like bender of knowledge. Well, so does he do drugs or anything like that? Like, does he drink, or is he just like stone sober when he's doing this all?
No, he definitely is not totally sober. Oh God, I wrote it down at one point because he does have a sleep disorder.
Yeah.
So, and I believe I had him smoking, if I remember correctly.
I think so. Do you think he like stops taking his like pills for sleep disorder? So like he maybe starts like fading there.
I could see that. It was going to be a thing. I wanted him to have like sleeping pills.
Yeah.
But I think he would maybe either, I was about to say overdose on them. Not overdose like he'd hurt himself, but like every now and then when his body needs to shut down, he just has to.
Yeah, like he goes like 2 days without sleeping and then he just pops a couple so he could just pass out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just looks like a wreck after a while.
Right. Ugh. Poor guy.
Hey man,
you get obsessed.
Yeah. Hey, he's been obsessed nearly his whole life since he got his little limp.
So, I think we kind of fade out of that scene. We can actually do one here that's semi-positive, unlike the last one with Strauss. And I guess I want to transition over to more talking in general about your characters across this little arc that we did. So what did you like about, like, who did you prefer to play at the end of the day? Did you like Essex more or Strauss? Given that, let's say Strauss survived, which one did you like playing more?
That's a tough question. I think I liked being able to play Essex's skills more because it lent itself a lot more towards what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was way better having a high human. Like I can kind of know when somebody is definitely lying to me, and way better having a lot higher charisma so I could try to talk my way out of something. Better to have like soft skills, I guess. Gotcha. So that made it a little bit easier to kind of pursue things in a sneaky, pretending to be an agent sort of way. But Strauss was just a lot more fun when it came down to like the end of the mission. Everything always goes sideways. Because then you could always count on, like, I've got a high firearms, I got something, I can clean up what needs to get cleaned up.
Yeah, I kind of imagine what would have happened there if Strauss was at the end there when they started pulling everything out and going down with Agnes.
Oh yeah, like if he had been there, he wouldn't have gone outside. He just would have started blasting from inside, and it would have turned into a bloodbath.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking about that, like how differently this would all played out if, let's say, Duffy and Strauss and everybody was still there. Like what would have changed? How would the mission have adapted to it all? But nonetheless, I liked Essex a lot. I thought he was a very interesting character. I like that you had him almost at odds with everybody else, especially with the knowledge. Like Agnes was very much had seen it and didn't want any more. Carmine didn't have any idea what was going on, and I think Drano was just there to complete the mission, is what it felt like. Drano was just like, "Yep, this is what I got to do, so I can go home," kind of thing.
Yep, and that's exactly why I made him the way it was. Like, I tried to go complete 180. It'd be somebody who like wanted to knew there was danger in it. So that's why I gave his backstory. Like, he got injured with some sort of odd ritual, and that's why he gets his limp. That's why he has I don't remember the name of the background, but a background that started with unnatural. So he like knows it's real and knows it's dangerous, but he's also obsessed with it. And so I thought, like, there's a possibility that he's going to be the one who, the bad side of Delta Green that tries to keep things and use them rather than destroy them.
Mm-hmm. And I think kind of playing off that was a little of the parallel of what I kind of tried to do with the main cult leader of him, like being a former Delta Green guy and kind of being tainted with it and wanting to like basically use his knowledge of that all for his benefits.
I was thinking about this, and I definitely like the way things shook out. Essex would never have like joined him with the way things happened.
Oh, I didn't think so, but
I was also thinking, like, if Essex had been the one I started with and had survived, like, maybe he could have. But just because having a more exposure to it and like more
sanity.
more sanity loss, more like the more he would have seen and want to figure out, like, maybe he could have been swayed. But the way he was brought in is like, I could totally see like why this Branham would be like, okay, if there's anybody, it's this guy. But just the way it shook out, no, never.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you hear someone talking that crazy. Like, if you do want to hear some of it, there's part of you knows.
Yeah, like, I definitely want to know
the danger in it all.
Like, I definitely want to know what you think is going to happen, but I also don't want to let it happen.
Right, exactly. Were you happy with the way everything played out with Essex? Was there anything you would have done differently over the mission? Kind of at the end of the day?
I don't think there's anything I would have done different. I did think about this when Agnes died, like, maybe I should have started shooting, but I was still kind of thinking, like, that's what Strauss would have done, not what Essex would have done. He's not the kind of character who would just immediately confront things with violence. And
what was his firearm, like 30?
Well, it was, his firearm skill is a basic 20.
Okay, I that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, I purposely kept it away, like, he's not, like I said, exact opposite of Strauss. It's not his direction that he goes unless he absolutely has to.
I thought you did a good job of playing that too. Like, at no point did it ever feel like this was a redux of Strauss, just with like a different paint job, essentially. Like, they felt totally different, and I loved how. I think one of my favorite things is you guys constantly being very careful around Carmine to not either blow your cover or like keep him in the dark so that he didn't become like you guys.
Yeah, and I actually really enjoyed that. I was kind of worried when we started, like, okay, what are we going to do? Because I knew that Jake was playing somebody who wasn't in Delta Green, but didn't really know what it was until we met him. But I think that worked out really well.
I loved it. I thought it was a cool way to go. Like, I'm happy that you guys were okay with it. And I love that Jake wanted to go that route too, of just kind of, let's just make it feel organic and natural and see how it all plays out. Like, I don't want to force it. When they meet up, they meet up. If it's half the show that they don't meet up, it's just going to make it that much better when they finally do run into each other.
Yep. And yeah, Jake was so good. So good this session, or this
Dude,
season.
he was. Carmine is such an amazing character. Like, I'm just bummed to see him go, and it makes me want to run more Delta Green so that Carmine can come back. So,
yeah, fantastic.
But even with Essex, I really liked a lot of it with Essex, and I love the background that you built with him. I love kind of the mythos around him and I was wondering I was trying to think of, like, what would Marshall offer you to try to get you on his side, like, at the end, if there was a way. Like, I was trying to figure out what kind of knowledge he could sprinkle with you, if there was, but...
I think I don't know if there's anything specific, but I really think it's like a timeline thing. Like, if there like hadn't been a countdown, if they'd been there longer, like, he could have been drawn in. Like, I mean, especially because this was something I was playing around with, is that we were trying to figure out, or at least I was trying to figure out kind of in the background, why Sharon was killed. Like, what's the exact deal there? And all we really knew, especially by the end, it seemed like Sharon and Marissa were, like, drawn into another cult. Like, they were not in charge at all. They were they just joined up. But the idea that one of them was forced to kill the other could have been, like, twisted into, like, hey, we're not with them, they're with us. We don't do this kind of, like, we're not these witches, we're something else. Because I kind of figured it was like a witches thing that ended up being the rituals that hurt Essex in his past.
Oh, gotcha.
So like, it wasn't like, in my mind, it wasn't like a cult of Nyarlathotep. It was like New England witches. And so
interesting. Okay.
So I figured, like, maybe if there was a longer time frame, he could have been drawn in, realize, this isn't the people that hurt me, this is something else. Now I'm interested. Oh, like, what's this Dreamlands thing? But when it came down to, like, the timing, that you got 2 days, and then the world is going to change, it's just too extreme. Yeah.
No, and I wanted to make sure I put a clock on there. Like, I really wanted to push you guys towards having that definitive time period of, like, and like, I was wondering what was going to happen. If you hadn't seen her coming in the bush, like, in the bushes there. Like, I gave you a couple chances where I see her, like, trying to exit and get your attention. And then when she escaped, I was like, all right, I'm going to give one more shot to see a luck roll to see if he sees her. And if not, then it would have been a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, that was a neat little twist. I love that. We're just trying to, I don't think we're spinning our heels at that point, or spinning our wheels, whatever the phrase there is, but I don't think we were dragging. But then that kind of kicked everything into high gear.
Yeah, a lot of it was me just trying to figure out the good timing for that to happen. Like, I had the timeline of her getting captured and their plans for it, but then I honestly just did a luck roll to see if she escaped.
I mean, that's the best way to do it sometimes.
I did a luck roll and she escaped. I'm like, all right, cool. So now I got to figure out where's she going to go? Who's, like, if Jake had made himself a like Ocean Shores police officer, it's easier to tie into the narrative there if she goes to the police station.
Oh,
and
yeah.
All get called. But she's not going to make it to Aberdeen, or, like, that's
no,
not
definitely not.
So, but no, I really liked how this season played out. It felt different than the other two. I think it felt a little more, I wanted to make it weirder, and I wanted to make it
definitely
feel
was weirder.
Different. Like, I felt like the Music of the Darkened Room was like a classic haunting. I feel like the second one had the paranoia and the tension kind of built into it, and
yeah, because that one was a lot more personal. Like, it was,
yeah. And so with this one, I really just wanted to, like, I wanted to challenge myself to, like, get away from my DMing style of, like, everything has to make sense, and be like, no, man, we're dealing with the unnatural. Like, it doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah, some things just
let it be.
Some things are just kind of creepy window dressing.
Exactly.
But it, like, at the same time, we don't know what it is, so maybe we're going to latch onto it, maybe we're not.
Yeah, and that's the thing of having I'm really enjoying this kind of style of having the moving pieces in the background and having their own agendas and seeing where they line up with you guys when you encounter them. It's been a really interesting way of DMing, and I've liked it a lot more than I have done stuff in the past wise. So,
well, I really enjoyed this mission, so worked out for me.
That's good to hear. So I guess circling back to the character stuff, I asked you about what the difference was, who you like playing more. I asked you kind of, your overall thoughts on Essex when it came to the last mission here. If we had another mission afterwards, do you think you would continue Essex, or would you bring another person in? Do you think Essex is satisfied with what he found and like he has enough there to tide himself over? Or do you think it's something he would go after more? I
think he would. So this is kind of also something I thought about. There would be a discussion before he gets brought in. So what happened in our mission was essentially that we were given a fake mission, and we didn't know it. The only reason that was even found out is because Agnes and Wes still had a relationship. Mm-hmm. Like, we very easily could have gone the whole time without knowing that. But it did come out in the end. It would more be a question of, would Delta Green trust Essex after what happened and what he ended up doing? And I mean, if they would trust him, he would absolutely be there again. But he would definitely continue a little further down the path of, I'm here to help you guys out, while also grabbing as much for myself as I can.
Yeah. And I love that, because that leads to, like, you fail one of those rolls to get caught, and that leads to them coming to wipe you out or something like that. There's a whole other chain of events that happen there.
Yeah, like, he would definitely toe that fine line.
No, I love it.
But he'd be down, 100%.
That's good. Yeah, I was wondering, as we progress and Misha takes over, I'm gonna run a sci-fi game for a period of time, and then I would like to circle back to Delta Green. I'm really just trying to get some thought process. Like, I have an idea for a scenario, and I'm trying to flesh it out more, because I don't think it's that, like, it's just the bare bones, right? Like,
yeah,
there's an incident, and then building off of it. So I think that could be interesting, but I don't. Yeah, so I'm just kind of kicking around some things now, but. Yeah, I'm very happy with the way that the mission turned out. I'm thankful that you were there playing alongside of it, and I do want you to know I love playing this game with you. And
I love
every character you make and you bring is so well fleshed out, so well done. I really feel like you put your heart into them, and you try to make them different, and I appreciate that. Where it's not just cookie cutter 1, 2, and 3.
I appreciate that. I try to just pick a. Like what I did with Strauss is like, okay, here's some ex-Special Forces guy who doesn't necessarily believe in the supernatural, but believes in the mission. And like, okay, I just went from there. And with Essex, I just kind of came at, like, this is, like, not, Fox Mulder is the wrong word, but I talked about, like, Egon kind of being the inspiration. Be like, that kind of view, somebody who fully believes. And, I just try to pick a quick idea, a core idea, just kind of build off of that. So I don't know what I would do for a new character yet, but hopefully I don't need to come up with a new one for a while.
Exactly. Well, I like that, like talking this, like the way you approach character creation, because with Misha's game, I got to make my second Delta Green operative ever.
Oh, yeah.
And so, it was very much, I think I actually made him first before I made my other one, but I get to play him second. But it's very much that, like, I was trying to think of, like, what is his motivation? Like, how is he looking at this all? And, like, especially rolling his stats, I'm like, okay, like, now that I have a baseline of what this guy is, what's he going to become, and how do I want to play him? And, I'm just very interested to, it's cool to talk to, I finally get to talk to people about making characters and character choices.
About playing him. Well, I don't want to spoil anybody, but I do like your character with what we've done so far in Misha's game.
Yeah, I'm still trying to, I still try to find his groove. I think he's good, and I think he's interesting to play. I don't think he's a good person. I'm trying to get that across, that he's not at all. He's a very damaged human being.
It's definitely come across. I'll give you that.
Good, perfect. That's what I'm hoping to do. Is I don't want him to be a likable person. Like, he is not a good person, and I don't want this to be a. So it's interesting playing that kind of character. Like, he's very much an opposite of who I am, where I'm
just do the opposite of anything you would do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, so I have to think about the situation like, oh, I'd help somebody out here. It's like, no, this guy wouldn't help anybody. Fuck him. Like, he doesn't give a shit about them.
That might be a really fun way to do a character. Just put the stats in to make a decently competent character, and then just decision making do the opposite of everything I would do, no matter what that is.
That's, I mean, especially with it, like, I've got like a 5 charisma. So, like, I'm just like, all right, this guy is, like, just.
Oh, that's definitely coming across.
He's a dick. He's cold. Like, yeah, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Nonetheless, I'm really, we're excited for you guys to hear what Misha started. It's been incredible so far. I will say that she is, I would not know this is her first time DMing if it wasn't for her jitters, but she is knocking it out the park.
She's doing real good so far.
So definitely much better handle on it than when I first started. So, that's cool to see.
Yeah, she's really getting into it. I'm stoked. I'm excited for people to hear it.
Me too. You have any last things you want to mention here as we close out here? Do you have any questions for me or anything?
No, I mean, we pretty much answered the only questions I was going to have is like how far or how serious was Brandon with trying to get him to come along. But,
yeah, I think he just got picked. He had his choices, and I think he picked you because he thought that you would be valuable to them. Like, with your knowledge, he thought you would be, I guess, corruptible would be the best way to think about it.
Gotcha.
Like, he might be able to convince you, like, hey, like, you want to know what the fuck's going on here? I got your hookup.
Yep. I mean, yeah, that's really about the only thing that could have convinced him. But,
yeah, that's what I can think.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I got another character that survived. I did a tally the other day, and you have killed in various games 5 characters of mine. I had
Delta Green?
From Delta Green.
Yeah.
This is the only one that survived so far.
Yeah, for those listening, we finished our home game on Saturday when we're recording this on a Sunday. And, Tyler's character, I think I killed a character in every single story of that game.
Yeah, I have died in every single one. I died in the
Extremophilia,
the first one.
And then we had the JFK assassination.
Yep, I died there. And actually, the way I died in that one is the same way I died in this last one. Like,
it's very true.
Attacked by a ghoul.
So, well, all 3 of you died by a ghoul.
You know what? I guess that's true. I did die by a ghoul.
In the second one, there was a city of ghouls.
We just didn't get to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
ghouls are no joke, man. They're gnarly shit. So
yeah. So that was 4 characters there, and then Strauss.
Well, maybe Misha will kill more of your characters. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah,
she seems to have a plan to. Doesn't matter if we die. So maybe I'll push the envelope.
fully ready for my character to die, and I embrace it.
Good. So yeah, join us.
I can't kill characters and then not be okay with my character dying. That just doesn't seem right to me. Like, I want it to be a good cinematic death if it happens. And I feel, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, whatever.
As long as you recognize it.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, it's just a game. He's not real. So,
not a real person, so you can kill him with impunity.
Exactly. Just like in your game where I killed the waitress or the one lady.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the receptionist at the office.
Exactly, yeah.
Hey, I'm still telling you, she was not evil, but hey, that's fine.
Man, she was in on it.
I feel it. I respect
She's working with the Bones Doctor. You can't tell me she didn't know that the Bones Doctor was doing Bonesy stuff.
Yeah, I suppose not.
Exactly. So, she's working for Bonesy Jonesy or whatever his name was.
Yeah, I don't remember, Dr. Calcium.
Dr. Calcium, that's right.
That was a fun game.
That was a good game. That was a lot of fun. So, well, I appreciate you sitting down with me, Tyler. And I'll see you next time we record, probably.
Yeah, so, probably.
Take it easy. Keep it sleazy.
Yep. Talk to you later.